Okay, I think we are live on Facebook. Let me just do it
I should get a notification.
fresh. Okay.
Oh, you're live. Perfect.
Awesome. Perfect. So we're live on Facebook. So welcome everybody to this week's Beyond the Cloud, where we actually have special guest Veem, and we are the first public forum, I think, to actually put this out and saying, yay, they're live for domestic payments in Canada.
Awesome.
So very
That is completely true. We want to make sure, we talked to Tanya a few weeks ago, but the moment we launched, she's the first one we called.
That's awesome, because I've been waiting for like a year and a half. I was, okay, hopefully next year, hopefully next quarter. So I've been waiting. So yes, I'm very excited about this. So that's awesome. So we'll first off just kind of ask everybody who's with us. Oh, we've got Paul joining us live too. So again, anybody can join us by Facebook, ask questions. I'll be checking there. Join us live on the Zoom if you want to ask questions live. If I bring you in as a panelist and you don't want to talk and you just want to listen, you don't want to have, your video on, no problem. Keep yourself muted and keep your camera turned off. Just remember when you're joined in, you will be muted right away. So you have to unmute yourself before you speak. So it is Friday, and we are, I guess, starting conference season, because our first conference, we had a small one-day one just on Monday, and now we're hitting IPBC is our first one coming up next week. So why don't we just ask everybody who's here, what's your favorite thing about conferences?
The people.
I agree. I have my exhibitor conference buddies, but I've always met these incredible people, and I've kept in touch with most of them over time.
That's awesome. And I'm the same, that I go, and I have to say that I used to go into the sessions, and you will probably find me more often not in sessions than in sessions. I get enough sessions to get my CC credits to keep my CC, but otherwise, yeah, it's right. And I find we end up learning. Deb, your camera's working. Holy crap.
Surprise! Go ahead.
It's so nice to see you.
Yeah. Hello. Sorry
Awesome.
to interrupt.
Sorry for anybody who's new. Yeah, Deb's been trying to get her video working for ages. So she's been with us, as an avatar last week, I think, and then just a name for the several weeks beforehand. So that's awesome. Anyway, so that's, you'll find me more often talking to people, because I find I learn more just sitting down, talking to somebody. We get ideas going back and forth, and I end up learning a ton.
And just hanging out in the trade show with the exhibitors and the new solutions and apps, right?
Exactly.
Quick plug, Veem will be at IPBC next year, or this week for the first time, so I'm really excited. Myself, as well as my colleague, Doug Gordon, will be there. Yeah, Doug's there.
Besides you?
Well, no, not in the room.
Oh, just when you went, I'm like, turn the camera to Doug.
A very close 3 floors, but if you want to meet Doug and myself in person, also get some Veem socks, please stop by, guys.
Awesome. Okay, so before we get into Veem, does anybody else want to jump in as to, we've got a few more joining in live, as to what their favorite things about conference season or conferences are?
Getting real access to the exhibitors and the apps and the vendors, because, there's the help desks are all like chatbots now, and no one answers phones, and emails take forever. And I hate getting emails replies because I don't like email. So actually, like, speaking 101 with the apps and the solutions are my favorite for sure.
And you know what? We were just talking about that is when I didn't realize that you guys were in the waiting room. So I don't know if you ever heard part of that. You're right. And especially like you get an email back and you're like, that's not at all what I meant.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Anybody else? Anything to add? Oh, we're getting feedback from somebody.
Somebody has it open on their phone. There you go.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, that was you, Diane. What? All right. Well, if nobody else has anything else to add, I think that means that they just want to jump in and find out about Veem. So, which is very exciting. So, Veem is, just to give everybody a little bit of a heads up, because I don't know if Melissa will toot her own horn or not, but I just found this out yesterday as well too, and I didn't realize Veem was actually part of the App Showdown and did make the top 10 for, what was it, 2017?
That's correct.
Right? Yeah. 2017. So did you want to like let us know a little bit about that experience, what that was like for you?
I actually can, because I've been at Veem for 2.5 years now. I was part of the application process for that. Some of the first things I did at Veem.
Wow.
And it was an amazing experience. So obviously the winner that year was Shopbox, and plug to my 2017 App Showdown class family. All 10 of us, we actually have a group chat on Slack still, and I talk to these people all the time. But one of the best experiences from it was we entered a day with our app before the submission deadline. So as everyone knows, August 15th, hard cutoff. So we submitted ours. So we hadn't had a lot of feedback. So going to the conference was not only our first foray into getting feedback from real live customers, but it was we didn't have a lot of preparation because of this. So being a part of the App Showdown class and being a top 10, first off, we had firsthand, we had just built this app. We were in the US, and all of a sudden people are telling us about the app ecosystem. They were really interacting. So we knew we had chosen an integration partner that had an active community, which I love this. This is why one of the reasons I love coming to shows, Tanya, like you inviting us, thank you. Because when you get to interact live, it makes the product better. I don't ever think you should guess a product and make it. You should always get feedback and make a product for what people are actually using. Because you can guess what people are doing, or people can tell you their real process, and you streamline that way. So for Veem coming in, we had the best feedback. It was amazing to be so new in the app ecosystem and in the marketplace and get the feedback right away when it's a really crucial time. And as well, I got to meet the incredibly amazing Annie Terry, some awesome app ecosystem partnerships that to this day I still use at other conferences. And just realizing how tight-knit the Intuit ecosystem of app users is.
That's awesome. Well, actually, there's a comment here for Brad Clementis on Facebook. So when you guys see me looking down, I'm not ignoring, I've got my phone turned volume down so that it's not doing the feedback, and trying to watch on here. And actually, Brad says that Melissa brought cool socks to Edmonton.
So every year, for everyone who has known me, I have done a different design of socks, and Veem has very luckily always backed my hobby. So conference season is ending for 2019 soon. I'm just going to say you're going to want to stop by our booth, because next year it's a whole new design.
Awesome. Well, that's something to look forward to, because I know, that my daughter loves the socks. And I know Jenny Moore, if you're watching, I don't know if she's watching or she'll be watching the replay. I think she's down in Toronto. Her daughters love the socks.
Thank you. Well, in that case, if anyone has them, take a picture and tag @GoVeem. We are super active on Twitter, and I'm not going to lie, it does make my day.
Awesome. Okay, so just curiosity then to go to anybody here. I think who's used Veem in the States? So in Canada, all we've had, of course, is the domestic. So the difference, like from my what we use it for is anybody that we're dealing with over the States, because Pluto and WayPay, great options. Some people love them, but they were $9.99. And so that's what really attracted me to Veem the first time, that it uses, if I'm correct, blockchain technology.
Correct. So just a quick one though, you did say domestic. So prior to this week's launch, we were only international payments.
Sorry.
That's okay. Payments into United Canada. And as of this week, we've now opened up our domestic corridor. So it's the same product as our US offering.
Exactly. So that's what I've used it for, is back and forth in the States because of the international, not the domestic. But I know there's some people on here. Jessica, if I'm not mistaken, you use Veem quite a bit yourself. So what's the experience like for you, before we let Melissa jump into the domestic side? Yeah, like just let us Canadian know how it's been for you. And if there's any other, I don't know, Deb, if you use them as well too.
Yes, I cannot say I have a lot of experience because it's usually my clients that use them, but I help them with selecting and the implementation, teaching them how to use it. The one that uses it the most is one that has a lot of international contractors. So it's a very cost-efficient way for her to pay the contractors without, paying outrageous wire transfer fees or having extremely long delays that other payment methods have. And I found so far customer service has been pretty good. I mean, I've only ever needed help with setup onboarding, but so far I like it. And ever since Pluto changed their pricing structure, it's now what I recommend to anybody instead of Pluto to check that out.
Awesome. So did Pluto just change their pricing structure last week for you guys in the US as well, or was that prior to that?
I have not gotten any formal notification to my account that the pricing is changing, but from what I am hearing in the pipeline is coming. And so I am trying to be proactive and giving my clients a heads up. This may happen. If it does, here are some alternatives.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Well, and that's what I said to Melissa yesterday. I'm like, you guys could have timed the planning more perfectly if it had been planned that way, right?
Yeah. So, and I want to put it out there. This was not planned. I told Tanya a month or so ago, and I love my app partners in all ways. This was a completely, with our partner we were able to do domestics with, a choice that just happened to align. So please, everyone know that, it's a friendly game over here. It just happened to overlap.
Well, and but you're filling a need. Pluto has chosen, excuse me, sorry about this, okay? Like the allergies, but Pluto's chosen their ideal clients. And everybody's got their own ideal clients. Kelly said it very well. Kelly Park said it very well, but you know what? They've chosen who their ideal client is. Being an app, is not easy. All of us need to choose who our ideal clients are. And for those of us who are the small guys, don't fit into their mold anymore. And that's great that there's somebody else who's offering a solution for those of us who don't. So can you let us know then, Melissa, because I know you said this yesterday. So tell us a little bit about like the pricing and, your future plans with subscription models and.
Oh, that's going to be an easy one. Subscription model, guys, same as the US. That's not the way we ever want to play the game. That's not what our user base needs, nor it's exactly what we're trying to stray away from with banks. So with bank wires right now, there are two ways that banks make money. And when I think of a Veem competitor, I literally do think of a wire transfer. And it's the fact that most people don't understand that banks make money on two ways on international payments. That being the really clear upfront one, which is the $45 typically to send, $25 to receive, the wire transfer fee. There's also an FX. So when it comes to foreign exchanges, the difference between two currencies, there is a spread. And on that spread, there's a percent charged. So banks typically charge, 3 to 4%. We will always be 1 to 2%. So that is where we make our money. That's why no subscription fees. So our model is not going to change to that. We don't want to change to that. We open into Canada first as an international because that's where our strengths lie. And obviously that is the offering we're bringing. We're trying to become this global networks payment. Now we realize with corridors, it doesn't make sense to make people split how they do their payables. So we always try and increase our offering. So for those of you who met me actually at QuickBooks Connect Toronto last year, that's about when we decided we really need to have a domestic offering. So we went to the show, we asked how many people needed this solution, all of that. And it was a resounding from everyone. Yes, if I'm going to use you in Canada, I don't want to split my apps. So at that time we chose it. So no subscription fee. Now, for those of you who are domestic, we do have a per charge. So it's the same thing in Canada, but it's very clear cut for a domestic in Canada. It's $1.50 per. There's no limit that it's pay per use.
Awesome.
Now, moving forward there's no out of packages if you use a integration partner. So if we are agnostic, in this case, I will tote Intuit. You can set it up. There are no extra costs. It's not a la carte. That is what you are paying. Okay, guys?
Awesome. Now, did anybody, while we're here, because of course this is Freestyle on Fridays and Unscripted Fun, and we answer questions, does anybody have any questions for Melissa on Veem, on anything, how it works?
I will go into more detail on the how it works. I was warned that this is kind of off the cuff. So guys, I'm ready. I have been preparing myself all day to come under fire if need be. Ask the hard questions. I'm here for the hard questions.
I have a question. Melissa, do you have like partnership program, or it would be just straight 150 per transaction, client and for us?
So not for accountants. So for accountants, may I share my screen, Tanya?
Absolutely, please do.
Okay. So for how accountants work, you can either choose to eat the cost yourself or your clients can do that. It depends on how you're set up, but it's just the payment. It's the payment itself that the fee is connected to for domestic. But we do have an accountant partner offering. So if you go to veem.com/accountants, And again, even if you go to a regular page and sign up, there is an option to select accountants. This is the fastest way to do it. This is how you create your Veem accountant profile. Just click sign up here. And because you yourself are not making the payments, it's your clients, and you really just want the platform for it. And I need to go to the sign up part because it's letting me sign in. What it's going to allow you to do here is just have that one-page offering where you sign your firm up. And here it is. So for an accountant, here's how you create your profile. Simply add the information here. And if you want to make payments on behalf of your own firm, so you are directly either the payee or the payer, there is an option to change your account in there and add yourself as your own client. But for here, simply sign up here, add the information, and you'll have an easy to use accountant dashboard and bookkeeper dashboard. Sorry guys, I should use my language better. But this is a way to easily manage all your clients from one dashboard. So it allows you to simply add a client and go through. So I can show that as well. I don't know if
And I am an accountant my account would be one of those accounts, and I would be paying same fees as an accountant for my own transactions.
for your own transactions, correct. So if for every one of yours, that would be the fee. That would be it.
Okay.
So
there's no like benefit for us. Like a lot of software companies often will give us a free account for our own business use.
yeah, but because we're a payments provider and the rails we're using, it's just the straight payment. Our accounts are always free, and the offerings here become the dashboard itself is not subscription based. So we wouldn't charge you to do payments on behalf of your client. It's your payments, the client's payments that are getting charged. But again, always feel free to go into more depth with your account manager, but it's not like a QBOA. That's the best way to kind of patch them together. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely. But even just, yeah, okay. There's like just looking for if there was any incentive.
Mm-hmm.
Of course. And thank you for the feedback there. I'll bring that back to my team.
Just while you're on that screen, Melissa, as well, Brad's asking if he says he thinks he signed up for a company only account so far, can he convert it to an accountant profile?
Of course. So with every Veem account, you will get an account manager. Brad is yours, Patrick. Shoot Patrick a note and he'll help you.
Okay, yeah, I think Brad and Patrick have been speaking. And then Brad just put in that he had to pay his own fees with Pluto as well too. And that's not new. And I pay my own fees, I think, with WayPay too, for the stuff that I do. So
yeah,
Well, it never hurts to ask, right? You never
it
know
doesn't.
what
I
you
think
get.
with WayPay, I think mine's cheaper than my clients pay. But yeah, the way that I look at it is, you know what? It's saving the wire transfer fees, the ease of use. And I'll tell you, this is probably just about as easy as sending an email money transfer when you sign up anyway. So you can go on, Melissa.
I think with Telpay, we
Mhm.
get it free.
Is
You
it
do.
with
You get
Yeah.
it free
Yeah.
and free setup.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's
For
feedback
any of
anywhere
our
that some of
clients.
us might like some discounts. If
I am
Melissa,
making
how
notes.
long does it take for the money to get deposited into pay, or when you pay or when you receive, from beginning to the end?
From beginning to end within 2 business days.
Okay.
Exact same as our domestic US offering. I was actually the guinea pig for TD Bank within our own rails. So we do all the testing before with each bank in Canada, and I can confirm every single bank within there. So that is
And that is business day, not including weekends, correct?
correct. So if you send it on a Friday at 5 p.m., it'll be 2 business days from that.
Okay.
And that's the same for credit unions?
May I ask my support team, please and thank you? I actually don't know off the top of my head there.
And is that if you push the funds or pull the funds from an account?
We act as the agent of the payment. So when you sign up for an account, just like a wire form, that's the information we grab. You provide that information for us. We simply sit adjacent. I'm a scientist, so excuse the reference, as an adrenal gland. So we sit atop your bank account, and we act as your agent. So we do that. It's not a push or pull.
But you're pulling the funds from
Yes.
the accounts. That's what I.
Yeah, sorry.
so-
I know that some companies and in some of our own corridors, say the UK, they require you to go in and physically push the payment. So
Yeah.
that's including our act of pulling the payment out of your account and depositing it 2 business days.
I think kind of where Bianca is questioning is like payables and receivables, like Pluto did both sides. Is that what you're questioning, Bianca?
No, like usually and especially in Canada, specifically in Canada, the actual payment processing times, but from bank to bank, really vary depending on if you're pulling the funds directly from our account to deposit in our vendors, or if we're pushing the funds to you from our bank. Because typically the Canadian bank processing system, if you're pulling those funds from our account, you have to hold them for 2 days before you can release them to ensure the funds are viable. And that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, because we're I know the EFT system very well here.
Yeah.
Because we are acting as the agent and the partner we chose, it's always 2 business days. That whole rail mechanism is. So we don't have a holding period.
It's awesome. Because of the blockchain, the way I've always described it is because of the blockchain technology, it goes through different routes. Is that correct?
Yeah.
So not in for domestic. We utilize blockchain specifically for the corridors of Mexico, Brazil, and Philippines because it's legal and it's actually an acceptable way there. We are compliant in all the countries we service for the payment rails we use. So where it's beneficial is where we use it. So those 3 countries for international. I actually come from before Veem, in my prior life, I worked for BitAccess, which was the first Canadian company to be involved in blockchain. We spoke in front of Congress and we did Bitcoin ATMs.
Oh, wow.
I'm very passionate and happy. If you have any questions there, throw them my way. But one of the reasons we have the banking partner we do is because when it comes to domestic blockchain in that area is not the solution you need. And it's not the solution that's going to be cost effective for you guys. So I believe it's Bianca's your name. If I can scroll over your one. Yes. So the entire mechanism of getting the funds out and putting in 2 business days.
Is that East Coast time?
Oh, I'm from Corner Brook. So yeah. If again, if you go after, I think it is 4 p.m. EST. But again, check with your account manager. I don't want to say anything on there for what the cutoff time would be at the end of what an end of day would officially be.
And seeing it's too.
I'm West Coast, so I lose hours, and that makes a big difference.
Yeah.
So because we have an office in San Francisco, we try and be very accommodating, and you'll always have an account manager who will help you paying if you need to get things in.
Cool.
On the account manager, how do you know who your account manager is?
Whenever you sign up for Veem, and I actually help create this process, you immediately get assigned one. So, and if you sign up for an accountant one, it'll automatically be someone who's an accountant specialist.
I signed up yesterday.
What's your name?
Leanna Butcher.
My screen share is off to confirm with everyone, right?
No,
Yes, your screen share is off.
Okay, I can check right now.
Okay.
Yeah, Patrick would have been with us here today. He's actually he's like an account manager or something now, isn't he? He's gone up in the chain.
He has, and he's also my partner in crime, my other half, the one who makes fun of me on a daily and will not allow me to grow any kind of ego. And Leanna, currently right now, your account manager is Trinity. I can actually have her reach out to you after this.
All right.
Yes. No, but yeah. Yeah, so like I said, Patrick would have been with us, but he had a birthday this weekend and he took off and he's actually unplugging from work. I mean, how dare him, right? So happy birthday, Patrick, if you're listening. No, so one thing that I just wanted to say is how we've used this. And again, it's been international, so I'm assuming it's going to be the same as the domestic. So let me know this, Melissa. So there's 2 ways. So we've had where, like, for people joining up, like for boot camp is really the only cross-border service that we provide. And it's right in there that if they, they want to pay by Veem, they can send the deposit. They've gone in and sent it right away. Or I can go in and essentially send an invoice through Veem so we can use it as a receivables app type of thing, send it, they get it really quickly, and they enter their banking information and boom, it comes out. So we've used it both ways. Will it be similar to domestic?
Yes, of course. So whenever we launch, we are an APAR light, I like to say, platform. It'll be the exact same. So AR, AP for domestic.
Awesome. Barb says, hey, Melissa, or hiya, Melissa.
So integration with the softwares, how does that work?
So let me go really fast and just let me close this portion and go in and share, because Leanna, looking out for you, I'm not going to share your account, obviously. So looking here, if we go into integrations, so this is one of our demo accounts. So I'm not showing you guys anyone's personal information. Want to be very clear. This is demo. Someone's like, not cool. So if I go to integrations here, we are accounting, we are software agnostic. We, as you guys have seen us at different shows, we have partnerships, but we're here to work with you. So our two big accounting softwares we work with are obviously QuickBooks and Xero. We work with NetSuite ERP for those larger users. So maybe your clients are getting ready to use there. And then Zapier and Magento. So you can also look on your own dashboard. We'll always have the most up-to-date integrations there. If you'd like to know on the moment, follow our social. I can assure you, because I'm part of the releases, we always tell you our new partnerships there. And if there's something they're missing, we're always open to hear. So either feel free to ping your account manager and tell them that there's a software that's missing there, or again, reach out on Twitter.
And can we pay individuals?
Not personal. Veem is strictly a business to business. If it's a contractor or an intercompany transfer, we can facilitate that. But because there are e-transfers, we don't allow for personal to personal. So you can't pay your mom.
But no payroll either then.
Only contractors. For payroll, I will say, please hold tight.
Okay.
Awesome. Now there's another question too. There's two questions that have come up. So one on Facebook I didn't want to lose track of is, so Lisa's asked, could a nonprofit use Veem for reimbursement of director expenses or strictly B2B? So that would be considered personal, or would that be?
Expense payments are a business type of payment. So there are two parts to that one. It depends on the NFP. So we actually do now service. This was a thing for a long time for those who follow, QBO chat and all those. Last year, we did have a policy with NFPs that has changed. So for any of you whose circumstances have changed, we do service NFPs. But when it comes around that, because payments there's typically an invoice, a statement of payment, just contact your account manager. They'll have the best information. There's also a doc that's way too long. And if I try and break it down, I will say something wrong. Secondly, for expenses, I'm going to reach out to my client service right now to check on that one. So give me another question and I will check.
Sounds good. And if we don't have any answers to any of these, we'll make sure that they're in the chat, on the Facebook chat along with this. So then the other question is kind of, I guess, what we've just talked about. So Paul's asked, why can we not pay individuals and business only? So just out of curiosity, does that have to do with the banking, just the banking rules?
That does. So the licensing for B2B is slightly different than licensing for P2P. Because you have to remember, Veem is primarily an American company as well. We're kind of coming in, even though I'm from Ottawa, born and raised in Toronto, family's from Newfoundland. They don't see us that way. There are slightly different licensings. It gets into a bit dicier area when you want to mix and match. So our specialty and where we're really strong as B2B, we're just staying there for now. That's not to say in the future we might not go there, but for right now, where we're staying and our licensing we're going to, use is the B2B space.
So Melissa, can you define B2B more specific? Because like whatever our clients paying for is related to their business, but it could be to a person versus like a official business.
So for a sole proprietor,
do that or not?
Sorry, for a sole, so we understand that people are registered, they're a sole prop, they're just individuals doing business activities. Those we can pay. Now, giving your mom $100 back that you owe her, can't. But we do have it in our sign-up flow. We do ask whether or not you are a contractor, if you are a sole prop, if you are an individual registered as a business, which is kind of like sole prop. In those circumstances, I like to kind of more say in the areas of business. So we do contractor payments, business to business, and then intra-company transfers. So I have an entity here in Toronto and then here in Vancouver, or more commonly, it's that I have an entity here in the US and in Canada. You can transfer the funds between the two. We can process those.
So for those sole proprietorship, they may not have a business bank account. So that would be a problem?
So when you do those types of payments, there's typically an invoice associated with them. That's enough for us. So we understand that not all small businesses right off the bat get the bank account, business bank account. As long as you have that purpose of payment, that'll help us out. We have a complete in-house compliance, risk and customer service team that does these operations for you. So always when it comes to these one-off ones, reach out to your account manager. That is what they're here for. They try and make that payment experience as seamless as possible for your clients. So in that case, we would just bring it up and flag would be like, this is going to be a slight weird one. They are a business. They just happen to have a personal account.
What about shareholder payments?
That one I'm not aware of. I know for sure. I tried to read up on all of it, guys. I'm sorry.
Well, I can speak for the personal because I've been using Veem since before we incorporated and before I got a business account. So when I started using Veem, I was a sole prop and I was using a personal, a companion account. They called it a companion checking account under my personal name that I used for business purposes. That was fine. I then migrated to a proper business account and because just the number of transactions were going through and the credit cards I was receiving, they finally caught me and forced me to move over. And then I've incorporated and I've kept the same account through all of that. So it was nice. I didn't have to create a new account. I'm just, here's my change in name through the corporation. Here's my new bank account. And so I was able to use it through all three. And I think all I did is provide like my CRA business registration just to prove that I was a business under a sole prop and the bank account. So
what's the actual onboarding side like? Sorry, are we?
No, that's no.
Oh, okay.
Fire.
So like, say I want to pay somebody. Is it my responsibility to do due diligence to get all of their payment information that you require, or does it push to them and they fill it in and you deal with them?
Actually, both. So, and by both I mean you don't have to do both at the same time, either or. So when I went out to BitAccess, I used to do a lot of business with China. When they gave me payment information, they also gave me everything I would need to fill out a wire transfer form. That is enough information to also fill out your vendor profile. Now, obviously, they still need to accept, so we don't do anything where it's, it's just made, they have a Veem account. It sends them an email saying, your business partner wants to pay you through here. They've done most of the account setup. Do you accept or not? And they can verify their information. So in those circumstances where you have the information and it might be easier on your partner, you can do that. And if not, just send them either the payment or the invoice. And then when they get it, it's an explanation. In Veem, again, we allow things to be customized. So we understand that we're just the payment rail. It's your payments, your relationships, all of that. So if I go to settings, you can actually customize how your Veem ones go out. So if I go to, let's get this right, preferences, I can do things like make the message that goes out in the emails for payments. You can upload, as you guys see up here, oh wait, it's not my account, it's Patrick's. I use the Wonder Woman logo because she's my idol.
I love Wonder Woman.
You can upload
Carter, awesome.
Yeah, if you have a hex or certain company color, you can upload it here too, and it personalizes it that way so the payments are coming from you. So on the onboarding, it can either be you filling out the information and then sending off that confirmation to your counterparty, or simply just do the payment and then send it off and they can do it themselves. It's simply like a wire transfer form. So those 26 pieces of information you input in, the only difference being that we are a safe and online platform, so it's only one time as opposed to each time. So once you have a Veem account, it's much more simple. If you're using integration, for the sake of this one, I'll say into it, a lot of the vendor profile information is pulled over. So sometimes even having those payments, because you already have the vendor profile, most of the account information can be imported that way.
Can we see how that works actually, how it pulls from QBO?
If I have the integration ready, I totally will. Okay, give me 1 second. I'm gonna have to get the login for QuickBooks, but great question.
Okay, so while you're doing that, getting the login for QuickBooks, I'll just pop in and let you guys know too, when you're dealing with the international, any side of it, anyway, I know this is a domestic, but if you haven't used them for that part of it, what's really neat is I can type in, so again, it only would have been in Bootcamper case, so I would send an invoice to somebody saying, here's what it's gonna cost you. I literally type in their email, how much it is that I want in Canadian dollars, send it to them. They receive it, they say, take it out of my US bank account in US dollars, and it does, like, you don't have to worry about any conversion. It just goes through beautifully with that. So, and the setup is really easy. And I've never actually set up anybody with their information. I just usually type in their email and information, send it off to them. And everybody's always said, oh my gosh, I've never used that. That was such a really easy process. And I wish Lillian was on here because I do believe I used that with her. And she's not here today.
Okay.
She's on her way to a wedding in Martha's Vineyard. So
this is the bad one, guys. I'm really sorry, but it's under Patrick's name and he is on vacation. So I can't even text him to get the confirmation codes. Just
you know what? I don't mind using mine if you guys.
That would
I'm
be
okay with that. Here,
you are saving my butt there.
let me pop in. I haven't been in here.
While
in a
you're
while.
doing that, can I, Melissa, can I ask you a question?
Of course.
For those that we need more than one signature, are you accommodating that?
Yes, we are. So one thing to pop really fast, if you use things like 2FA as well, we have that, and we do have multi-approval in our system. So you can set it up so that either the accounting firms, multiple players in there, or if it's between you and your client, you can set it up that way too. It's all in your settings tab.
Okay, so I don't have any clients set up on this because I don't pay my clients' payables. It's all one-off that I send off in here, but literally you would just invite a new client, invite the client through Veem. This is, pretty much the basic information that you're filling in, and you send the invite. So it's really nice and easy.
And then that way the vendor can update their banking information if they have a change on their end as well, right?
Correct. Yeah. So as well for new users, as of, I think it's last week as well. So Tanya, you wouldn't see this because I believe you're already integrated or set up. If you integrate your QuickBooks or Xero, immediately businesses you may know will pop up. That is also a way to send out invites with the populated information that's pertained in their vendor profile in QuickBooks. That being just their business name, email, what you already have, because they don't have, we don't take the banking information over. That would be from there. Is that answer to that question? Maybe? Okay, it's okay. We're freestyling today.
Yeah.
I do you mean my question where I wanted to see the integration?
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't take that as an answer to that question.
No, sorry. Did you want to see I thought you want to see specifically a vendor profile in QuickBooks and the information we pulled over.
Yes.
Yes, I'm locked out for Patrick.
Okay.
Diane, if you'd like, reach out to partners@veem.com. They'll actually have the correct login.
Okay.
And I won't die of embarrassment.
Okay. And I guess because I don't have any actual vendors set up yet, it won't work from mine. So
I see. Okay, so then quickly, just one more question from me and I'll shut up. Do you do any pads? So you pull it from the customer's account on a monthly basis?
The recurring payments, we have a Zap set up for that. I can that we provide for you. Recurring payments.
So it's pulling a receivable every month.
Yes. So how we would do that is set up a recurring payment for you via the Zap, and that would automatically do that. Yes.
So you would pull from the customer's account and deposit into the business account for any one of our clients. So my example I'm thinking about is strata fees, where everybody has to pay their strata fees on the first of every month. So they have signed to have it pulled out of the bank.
It's not business to business.
Yes, that's one thing. Thank you, Bianca.
Ah, there you go.
Yep. But again,
Okay.
This is a
So
weird
it wouldn't work for that. Okay, so it wouldn't work for any kind of property management. Okay.
So in the US, we have a few property management ones. Those are all weird one-offs. In that case, partners@veem.com, see if there's something we can do to work with it. I am sorry, I know it's a cop-out answer, but on the whole, the quick answer would be that I don't think we can.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
if you're saying property management, it's worth an ask.
Okay.
Okay, and then so further to that, and Brad's kind of clarifying here, so no pad. So just for what we do, for example, right now I have pad agreements, we use Rotessa, and I do sales receipts. So if we were to change that, because again, this is looking at a replacement for Pluto, and what Pluto did used to do for us, but again, for one-off. So if I've got my clients and I am billing them, I don't know, $500 a month, if we set up an invoice, we can set this, like, is there a way to set this up that it'll pull from the invoices and automatically process that?
So not built-in product, but with a Zap, we can do that. We can set up recurring payments through an invoice. Again, that's a product feature in product, but because we are able to do it using an integration partner, we do it that way right now.
Okay. Well, and it's a good workaround. And then, yeah, so Diane said the same thing to you. He says he's using Rotessa for Pad, Diane.
Okay, I'm using Telpay. It's working. I just, again, when we switch, we usually like to have everything under one.
No, and that's great feedback. Yeah. I guess when we originally opened up an international, it's one of the reasons that we, with domestic, we were trying really hard to make sure that it was a full offering and not offering bits and parts of domestic when we opened up, which is why it is the full AR AP.
Okay.
For the business to business pads though, what is the deposit turnaround time? Like when you pull the funds from the customer and you put them in our bank account?
Is this for me or for the other girl?
Yeah, no, for you. For you.
Domestic payments, because we're just a payment rail, doesn't matter the purpose of payment, it'll always be within 2 business days.
Okay.
I have a question about the setting up a client under our like us as an accountant.
What was that?
Pluto, they have to check their credentials. Not credentials, like there's push security.
Credits.
Yeah, credits, and like they have to prove that they actually the owner and so on and so forth. It was a very lengthy process. Is that the same with you guys?
Probably.
Tanya, you or I can answer this. You've done some setup or I can answer.
You know what, it's been a while because again, it's only, for me to the US, but I can tell you from my end, it was very easy. I don't remember if there was a deposit. I just remember it was easy. So
for full clarification, like I said earlier, it is simply like the wire transfer form, as long as we do the information. No, we are not going to make you go through a mortgage check to see. Tanya, could you unshare your screen? I like seeing people's faces.
Oh, sorry, I didn't realize
No, it's okay.
Oh my gosh. Sorry.
No, so we simply have you enter the account information. If more information is needed, some people obviously don't fill out all their information at first. Maybe they want to see a demo first, all of that. We have a compliance team that reaches out, as well as every account, whether you're an SMB or an accountant gets an account manager, just depending on how you sign up. An accountant or a bookkeeper will get an accountant bookkeeper specialist, someone who speaks the language of AR, AP, loss gains, all of that. And for SMBs, we give someone who speaks more in the SMB language, what integration partners they're using. But when it comes down to it, no, the onboarding process, when you sign up, you have the account. We do not push a fund into your account and pull it out to test if it works. We simply act as your agent on that part.
I'm going to jump in and say that I set up a client with Patrick. Oh, it's been about 8 months ago, and it took like 5 minutes.
Perfect.
Actually called me on the phone, and I logged in to Veem, and I put the information in for the client. I keyed in their bank information, and it was done in 5 minutes.
And again, you have the option. Oh, thank you very much for that. I always like
it was really fast, really easy, and I actually did it for the client, so it wasn't a big deal. And he looked through the information for the client. And he says, "You're ready to go. You can send your next payment." And I did it like in the next 10 minutes.
Yeah,
so
so
it's
for those
very
who are,
simple.
Thank you very much. And then for those who are wondering, when you're in your account, I'll go back to my accountant dashboard. You simply just invite new client here, that big button. So again, send out the invite here. Now, after I send this out, I have the option as their accountant to start popping in their account information, or they can do it. So it really depends on the interaction you have with your client.
And the turnaround time for internet, if I'm in Canada and I have a Canadian bank, but I want to pay a US supplier, I'm assuming it's more than 2 days.
No. Oh, wait, international. No. So payment rail between Canada and US is actually quite nice. But for international payments, I believe our official statement is 4 days, but the US Canada rail is very fast because, again, we have 2 entities here. So you'll see it within 2 to 4 business days.
Yeah, I think it's 3 average is what I found.
Can you pay from a Canadian US account and from a Canadian account into US? Do I have the option?
I can check on our home site really fast. Oh, I swear I read everything before this.
So I know I've only received, but I know they should send me from a US account to my Canadian account.
So that was how it was before. And
Right.
I just want to make sure we haven't updated it to allow for USD bank accounts.
Yeah, Canadian US dollar bank account.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, because there was an issue with that before that I believe, a couple months ago, somebody was saying that's what they couldn't do at that point until domestic opened up. So that's a great question. Because we do have a lot of clients that do have USD accounts in Canada.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I've also noticed with a couple of my clients that the Canadian vendors will not accept Veem. I have 2 vendors from a client in the United States trying to pay a Canadian vendor and they won't accept it.
They just don't know how simple it is.
I've tried to explain it and they just absolutely refuse. And it was like a $10,000 payment. And they just said, absolutely not. We're not doing
If you
it.
ever need help with that, we actually have a CP
I've also
onboarding
noticed with a couple
team.
of my clients that the Canadian vendors will not accept Veem.
Oh, who's that?
Ooh, say that.
Somebody's got a loop
In
on.
the United States trying to
Yeah,
pay
somebody's
a Canadian vendor and they won't
somebody's got their phone on too, or maybe they're.
know how simple it is.
Oh.
I think it was Deb who asked the question, but for that, we do have a CP team that specifically helps with vendors. Now, I'm completely aware of it. We're newer. We're not a legacy system and we're not a bank. Sometimes when you don't hear something, we're asking for banking information. So it's completely understandable. And what they want is some kind of validation, credentials. We have a team that specifically responds to that, understands, and we always want to help you. So that's not Patrick's specialty. We actually have, Patrick's other many friends over here who are wonderful and always willing to step in to help with those. Because again, I'm willing to admit too, before I applied for Veem, I hadn't heard of it. So it's always going to be a thing when you have new technology. And especially when you're trying to cut fees, they're going to be like, well, they're sketchy. How are they making money? It is a money thing. So it's completely understandable, and I understand we do have a team to help with that.
And we did go through the team and they still refused.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, who
2
are
of
these
them.
legacy people who won't use new equipment?
Yeah. And to this day, they absolutely refuse. So it's like, I don't understand that at all.
I have a question. Is the product only browser based, or is there an app or a simplified mobile version for?
We don't have a mobile app. We are mobile friendly.
Okay.
Not to say down the line, we won't be an app one. I'm going to put that plug in there. So when Frederick watches this later, maybe he'll hear me.
So, and this is a great time to ask this. I already kind of know the answer, but it's great to get feedback because the answer is not written in stone, of course, but CRA payments.
As of today, we do not help with CRA payments, but a lot of you have messaged us.
And I was saying, they will hear feedback officially here if everybody wants to raise their hand who would like CRA payments too.
Okay.
It's a no-brainer.
Again, an all-in-one app, like Diane said earlier, all-in-one is just, that's what we prefer, right?
I understand completely. And just so you're aware too, we actually have this built into our sales process and sales notes. It's an entire field in our dedicated section for either missing corridors or product features you want. If you say it, we listen and we run reports every month on this. So it really is, if it's something you truly want, and from this, don't worry, I'm leaving here, Tanya. I'm putting it in your profile. I'm putting it in everyone's profile. Bianca, I saw your hand raise.
Well, no,
I
but I actually have an addition, because on top of paying CRA, some competitors, I'll say, will also file the figures around that payment that you're making, whether it's source document or GST return. They'll actually file the figures based on that as well. So if you're going to be doing that, you might add that input.
I will say, when we look at that option, they are definitely married. There are things hand in hand. We wouldn't do one without the other.
Okay.
Yeah.
Listen, those B2P expenses are really, really
Important for you? Okay.
important. Yes.
And
And
what
also the pad, like that's just makes life so much easier to have that on a recurring monthly or whatever basis it is for receivables. It makes it so much easier.
Okay.
Do you have built-in pad templates that are available?
The only template we have on Veem is an invoicing one. So, but again, making so many notes today.
While we're on this subject, receipt
Sorry, what was that, Leanne? You cut out.
integration of Receipt Bank.
So with that, we have a Zapier's app. Receipt Bank feeds into both QBO and Xero. I've actually done full demos with HubDoc, but because they're an entry type, we come in on when the bill's already in that integration partner, so it works very seamlessly. So if Receipt Bank is what you're using to obviously import your receipts into your chosen accounting software, Veem simply sees it as a payment, and then we have a full two-way data integration with all of our partners. So we run an API call every 30 seconds. What that ends up doing is all open bills get pulled into Veem, all open bills and invoices. We act as the payment rail, and then once that payment is reconciled or finished, we push that data back over into your accounting software. You simply collect, you go to your bank reconciliation feed, whatever one that it's in, and you simply line it up, and then payment's done. So it's the accounting software we reconcile or we integrate with really cleanly, which makes us work with Receipt Bank.
Okay.
And will Patrick be in, or I guess Doug, or you'll have like for those of us going to, because I know there's like a few on this call anyway that are going to be at IPBC. So there, I know Doug's going.
Yep.
Patrick said you're going to be there. I think Patrick will probably be there. So, or regardless, but will you guys have a demo account so that?
Yes, everything you guys want to see in person, we will have there. I'm gonna call myself now. I apologize for not having all the logins ready to go. You were like, sometimes it's a short session. It's like 15 minutes or so. If you want to stay on the rest of the show, you can stay on. I'm really happy I'm on the entire show, but that's on me. But we will have a full demo capable. You can see every bit of Veem, and we're at the station willing to do. So please stop if you're in person. If not, and you want to see it all, we host webinars specific to accountants. The next one will be on October 2nd. Again, after IPBC, we want to allow everyone to see us at there and then get their, everything together. You'll probably have 1 million exhibitor emails. So the week after that, when everyone's kind of nice and clean, we'll have a webinar there. You can go, or again, you always get an account manager. Even if you just email in partners@veem.com and say, I want to know this specific thing, we're not going to waste your time. We'll show you it.
Now, can you send me them, Melissa, or even pop in a chat or wherever, the link to the webinar registration? And you send it. Okay, perfect. Then I'll make sure that goes in the Facebook link as well, too, for those of you not on Facebook. So if you want to get into that.
You will have to deal with hearing my voice again, though, because I am the MC for that as well, guys. I am so sorry, but I am everywhere.
That is okay.
I won't apologize.
Is that really Canadian of me? Did I just go full Canadian?
Yeah, you totally did.
I'm sorry. So during this, we actually do a full demonstration of the accountant sign up, adding clients, the integration partners, and things like we have a tracker. So have any of you ever done a wire? And have you ever got it lost?
Oh.
Yeah, they charge you $10 minimum to find it, and they don't want to tell you. So we actually have built in a full tracker that's free. You're supposed to know where your money is because we onboard both sides of the party. So I know, Deb, this was annoying because they didn't accept payment, but we fully give everyone insight into where your payment is. So no more of that emailing someone and saying, I swear I sent it, or here was the initial wire form. You just both see it's in transit where it's at, whether or not we're pulling the funds from the payer's account and putting it into the payees. You'll see both sides. We'll tell you when it's official. And
you get emails, and you can sign in, and again, you can see exactly where it is, whether you're the sender or receiver.
Tracking the cost.
Sorry.
Oh no, that's on me.
Where are you pulling the exchange rates from?
I want to get this completely right. No. So we use exactly the mid-market rate. It's the official one that Google uses as well. So, and you can see it on our marketing site as well as in platform, and you can choose to lock in rates or not. But
Okay, that's what I was going to get to next, because when you're doing international, especially in Europe, it varies depending on where you are, where you're paying, and what day it is. So can you choose to choose a different day? Like, no, I want to delay that payment. That's a really horrible rate. And
yeah, you can either delay it or you can lock.
Okay.
If you see a really good rate and you're like, we don't want to pay it yet though, because it's like 3 months too early.
Yeah.
You can lock in that rate for that day and choose to pay at a different date. Again, I was here to talk about domestic all day. I should hype our
sorry.
which is our international. So to answer those of you who haven't used Veem yet, because we don't offer all of them, our big strength is that we are an international global payments network. How we work is that we do take the exact mid-market rate. We have a really strong corridor with China, but we're in over 100 countries. So we allow you to do FX lock-in rates. We have a cool new nifty features that your account manager should go over with you because it's more developed in person. But locking those rates, if it's not a good rate now. We also have 2 relief programs. So if you have clients who are in the UK, we're actually offering a Brexit relief program because we know with the uncertainty of the pound and just everything going on there, good luck, Ireland. It's not a great time and a lot of people are being very cautious with their money. So we are, for anyone who has Veem clients on here, check out the Brexit relief plan. We also have a tariff relief plan. So if any of your clients have a US corridor with Canada or with China as well, or being affected by those tariffs, please contact your account manager. We also have a tariff relief plan going on.
Awesome.
We really try and stay aware of those. FX and international exchanges are where we help out people a lot. But it doesn't help out people if we don't do things like build up the domestic corridors. So that's why we're really happy to announce this launch.
Melissa, how much is the fee for NSF?
NSF, so that would be the fee that you get from the bank, correct?
So you don't charge anything on top of it?
No, because the money just wouldn't come out. It's just like an e-transfer. It's not there to come out, so it wouldn't.
Exactly. So we use, the way we do our payments is acting as the agent. So we pull it locally, use our own rails to transfer it, and then deposit the money in. So the only time you'd ever see a fee is if you actually don't do a concurrency. So that would be doing international, specifically USD to USD. There is a $20 landing fee because there's no currency exchange. We have no FX, and banks do require a landing fee. So we can't eat a cost on every single payment. That's the only time you're going to see a fee would be USD to USD transfers across country.
I had an occasion with Pluto that we send a payment and then they wrote some checks. So there was lack of coordination for payments. So the accounts didn't have enough funding. So it bounced and we have to send it. And then we got charged from Pluto also.
You'll never see that. If a bank tries to tack on another fee, because we are the rail, we're not exposing to that. Veem, again, if something weird, say Deutsche Bank decides today, this rail wasn't what we wanted, so we're going to do one. That's again why people are looking for solutions to the wire transfer. You are not exposed to that. That's on Veem.
Okay.
If you've arranged a full slew of your payables to be paid and your client's bank account ends up being short because of an auto withdrawal or something, does the entire payment bucket bounce?
If you batched it, so you chose to do it all as one. So some people have so many payments they can do a month. I can only do 20 with my business one. You can choose to batch it so that it's seen as one and then split it off. In that case, yes, we would see not enough funds and we would contact you and say, hold up, there's not enough funds. What's going on? If it was individual, we would do the individual ones. And when it stopped at what payment it's, you ran out of funds out, we would then alert you, you're out of funds. We are just your agent. We're not a holding one there. While we're here though, I will say we have some great partnerships with different lending agencies and all of that. So that's another one you can check in on too. So if you do have a client who for cash flow is a problem, we have third-party solutions we've partnered with that actually integrate right into our product.
So you mentioned a cap at 20 transactions on a business profile. So what are your levels of profiles?
Oh, we don't have levels of profiles. I just know that for my personal business account, I can only do 20. We don't have that. There's no caps.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes, no caps on number of transactions you can do. I don't even know why I hesitate there. There's just no caps.
So as a business owner because all of us are most often working on behalf of our clients,
Mm-hmm.
can the business owner put a restriction on a daily limit per se just for anti-fraud, for their own protection?
Amount of money. I don't know if it's I know they can put restrictions on who can send payments and what. I don't know if there's a dollar amount one.
Okay.
I don't believe there is, if I'm being honest. But I will defer to my client service team again, who is wondering what I'm doing right now. And I'm positive I told them I was on Facebook Live. So she's like, why do you have so many questions right now? It's like, okay.
All right. Well, we've gone over. So
Sorry.
no. That's great. This is great information. And, because like I said, yesterday, like people here, they're just used to they're going to shoot all these questions out at you. And yeah, I feel bad for Melissa today. You did great, Melissa, so far. Yes, she's trying to get like, what is it like? And is it going to be like a more formal format? And I'm like, it's just, you're going to get what you get when you get it. Like,
no, I'm extremely happy. Anyone where you get, actual client interaction for a full hour is wonderful. But I'm just going to have this on the record right now. She invited me to stay on for the rest of it. It was like, I'll talk about something of the week. If you want to stay on, you can. It won't be you the entire time. Oh.
Yeah, well, you fit in well. You'll get along great with all of us at conference too.
It's just, and that's, I never know. Cause she's like, well, what's going to happen if there's nothing? I'm like, yeah, I'll find something to talk about. Someone's going to have a question. Someone's going to talk. There's enough of us. We'll figure it out. I said, but there's never been an issue where there's been dead air.
You are completely right. And you know what? That's on me for not estimating, but underestimating. So just a really quick thing for those who want to know, in the chat, I've posted the email and this is a general email. It goes to every single accountant one, as well as me. Whoever has the answer for you will get back to you. And if it's simply simple as who's my account owner, also answer there. We'll get you the correct person. Webinar link, if you just want to see the product and see those ones. I know I wasn't able to show you everything today, so on me, I apologize. And lastly, for those of you, it's a completely free account. So I've put on the veem.com/accountants to get your bookkeeper profile. Yeah, clients. If you just want to play around, just play around. That's all up to you.
Thank you.
Perfect. And I will make sure I'm just copying and pasting these right now, just in case I lose them once we close the webinar. I will put those for all of you watching on Facebook Live. I will put those in the comments. And then I'll tag you in there, Melissa, I guess, so that any of the questions, once you get answers to the expense, because I know Paul was looking for that as well as somebody else with regards to the expense reimbursement. So
because my customer service team wasn't quite ready for me to be asking questions as well, they're answering a lot of chats right now. It's about to be the weekend, so a lot of people get their questions in. They're not answering me very fast, but I did get a WTF. So,
okay.
Sorry.
Exactly. And Marnie, yes, Melissa will be at IPBC next week. So yeah, Marnie's just joined us. Marnie Stretch just joined us, and she's like, oh, I've got to go to an appointment. So, but yes, Marnie, you can rewatch and then look for Melissa next week.
Marnie, I believe I gave you socks in Edmonton. If you want to wear those, I'd be really happy.
There we go.
All of you stop by. I have a lot of swag and love to meet you guys, get some questions, and really want to give you a demo. Thank you for having me today.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And thank you for, your patience with, everything being thrown at you, but
I loved it. And again, this is why App Partners should do these things. I think it's really good to have an open forum.
Perfect. And then if anybody else has any other questions, feel free to put it in, again, the Facebook post, and we'll make sure that it gets answered as well too. So
thank you, Melissa.
Thank you, everybody. Thanks,
everybody. See you later. Have a great weekend.
Bye, everybody. Bye.